All right, so in this video, I'm talking about my story, limiting beliefs, my mindset, and how I got to where I am today. This is a recording from a coaching call in my good friend Matt Jacobs' community, which is called The Art of Appointment Setting. It's basically teaching people how to get into appointment setting, land their first role, and make money online. So it is a bit different from the cold email stuff I usually talk about, but some of the same principles apply, and that's why I'm uploading the video to my channel today. Hope you guys enjoy. So this is my story, limiting beliefs, and setting up for the best possible chance of success. So what you learn in this training is you'll really understand what it takes to win. You'll hear my story on how I got started and how it's probably very similar to yours. You'll get rid of all the limiting beliefs. You will overcome shiny object syndrome, which is something I struggled with for a long time. And you will learn appointment setting sauce from someone who has set hundreds of qualified appointments. And you'll also have an exact action plan on what you can do to improve your current circumstance. Cool. So yeah, who am I? First of all, my name is Mateo Banzon. I'm 21 years old. I was born in the Philippines, but moved to Australia when I was 7. Since October 2022, I've ran 2 marketing agencies, one of them being a lead gen marketing agency for real estate agents using Facebook ads, and the other one being a cold email lead generation agency for B2B companies. So I started both of these agencies by myself from scratch, and I've learned a lot since starting them. So why should you listen to me? I make 5 figures a month in my agency. I've been in the game for nearly 2 years. I've spent upwards of 25K on courses, mentors, masterminds, communities, coaches, and consultants. I've been in your shoes and like made it for most people, even though I don't really think I've made it. But yeah, I may not be a millionaire yet, but I am qualified to teach you. Something I did when starting out was pay very expensive prices for coaches who were making millions a year, as I said here, right? And yeah, there's a concept that I like to talk about, but if they were an 8 out of 10 in business and I was like a 1 out of 10, the gap was too large. So I much preferred if like a 3 out of 10 or 4 out of 10 would have taught me when I was a 1 out of 10, because they're only just a few steps ahead of me. So yeah, that being said, take everything that I say with a grain of salt, because this is what worked for me and it may not work for you because of so many other factors, and I don't have the full context of what you're trying to do. So, yeah, my background is I was studying university and finance. I was studying finance and cybersecurity in university, and I picked cybersecurity because in Australia it was common to land like a 6-figure job out of uni since it was in such high demand. And I didn't necessarily enjoy, you know, the cybersecurity. So I was working in construction at the same time with my back breaking. And yeah, I realized getting paid per hour was a scam, at least in my eyes, because there were people working harder than others and getting paid the same amount. So even in high school, I always knew that I wanted to make money and I didn't care how. I thought whatever job I get is the sole purpose to make money, right? But I realized I didn't want it enough because I looked at other business models and stuff, and I didn't pursue it because I didn't want enough. And I'll talk more about this later, but essentially, yeah, I started a few side hustles, was kind of making like okay money for just a few hours of work a week. And this first side hustle that I did gave me the foundation to work hard and mindset and stuff. It's called max betting for any of you guys, if any of you guys know that. But yeah, next I'll talk about my getting into online business, a speed run, because I don't think it's that important, but I think it's important that you guys have the context for what I'm about to explain later on. So yeah, I was obviously very addicted to video games, scrolling on TikTok, came across this bald guy who was selling an online course and community, and bought it during COVID for like $50 a month. I'm sure most of you guys knows who this is. And I learned copywriting from one of the professors. So once I got the basics down, it was time for me to pick a niche and to start reach out to clients. So I came across another guy on TikTok who was explaining how he made 50K a month running a lead gen agency for real estate agents. I'd like to think I'm good at spotting who's a G and who's not. So this guy seemed like a G, and I DM'd him on Insta, and turns out he was selling a course on how to start a real estate SMMA basically. And yeah, this is my first taste of getting DM set, because obviously I didn't know it at the time, but some DM setter was setting me to buy this course. Anyway, did the application process and ended up booking a call with a sales rep. It's funny because at the time I thought it was his business partner and had no clue it was a sales call, right? But I generally thought it was a qualification call, and I was getting interviewed to see if I was worthy. And he said like, oh, oh, he said like I'm a good fit, and I was like, let's go, let's fucking go, I'm a good fit. When, you know,
Yeah.
we all know that they're just gonna accept anyone. But the price was 5K USD, and I ended up buying it instantly with no objections. I did have a lot of savings at the time from this side hustle. Yeah, and during this first program I bought, looking back, it was pretty bad for the price I paid, but who cares? It's where it got me today, and I'm gonna explain this later on. But the offer was, I will help you start a brand new marketing agency and land your first paying client in 6 months, or you don't pay. And the guarantee had some conditions like complete the course, send X amount of outreaches per day. Taught me the basics of how to start a business and how to get started, like design logo, build a website, reach out to clients, etc. Anyway, I saw no results in this program in like 2 months. And I thought, like in my head, I was like, fuck, I'm working so hard. Like, how come I haven't landed a client yet? But like now looking back, I did not work hard at all. I was super lazy. Um, yeah, so what I tried to do was shortcut my way and try to find like the latest hack for everything. I ended up paying for another mentor for 3K to teach me sales. I paid 4K GBP for this AI tool that would 1,000x my website traffic with ideal clients, and pretty much got straight scammed. So the guarantee was like, we'll work for free until you do. And then guess what? He just tried to work for free forever until he just ghosted me. So that kind of sucked. And yeah, the reason why I wasn't skeptical as I should have been was because I had a lot of savings, and yeah, I had a little expenses, and I thought like if I lose the money, then that should make it easier for me to work hard and get what I want. And yeah, so in my fourth month, I think I landed my first paying client, $200 a month, and this was the best feeling ever. And I thought I'd get to 10K a month in no time. I thought, yeah, I'd be making 10K a month in 3 months. And I realized, like, shit, this is harder than I thought. And during this time, my twin brother, Alfonso, who's on the call, he said he wanted to start an SMMA himself in a different niche. I told him it was too hard as a beginner because you have no skills, because running a marketing agency requires marketing, lead gen, sales, appointment setting, fulfillment, customer support, operations, and managing team members. And my mentor, the sales guy I talked about that I paid 3K for, he started as a remote closer. So I just told Alfonso, I was like, bro, fuck this agency shit. Like, let me deal with this. You be a remote closer. You'll make more money than me. Anyway, fast forward, I ended up, yes, I was making around 2K a month at this time with little to no growth. So I paid for a 10K USD consulting program. Pretty famous on Twitter, but yeah, it was a really good program and taught me all the fundamentals of how to run a business. However, I didn't get the results initially because they didn't have much context on my real estate marketing agency for a number of factors. There were 300 plus students in the program. They had customer success managers who were giving me tips rather than the actual coaches themselves. So in around 3 months of this program, I saw little to no results. I had a one-on-one with a founder who usually charges 2,500 per hour for one of these calls, but gave me one for free because I was an absolute killer in terms of outreach, asking questions, joining the coaching calls, etc. I was kind of like a celebrity in the program because everyone would see me around asking questions and stuff. But I wasn't getting results. Like I wasn't making money, so something was wrong. Anyway, long story short, this founder told me I was in the wrong vehicle and I was in a shit niche. And instead, he told me to start a cold email agency or I'm gay. That's literally his exact words, right? And the guy was making 500K a month. So I'd be stupid not to do what he says, right? So yeah, the coaching program focused a lot on cold email. So I already had the skills to do it because I was trying to get that for my real estate clients, which didn't work. But yeah, within 5 days, I made a logo, website, funnel, etc., and started the second business within 5 days. And yeah, fast forward to today, I'm still running this cold email agency, hitting records month on month. I ran the real estate agency on the side, tried to retain as many of them as I could, but eventually they've all churned, and I've lost my last one like just like a month ago or something. I've invested in a few other programs since and always on ROI. My mindset is too good that is unreasonable for me to fail. I had shiny object syndrome for a very long time, but fully overcame that. I learned a lot of skills along the way and don't regret a single thing. However, there are ways I would have done it differently if I were to recommend stuff to other people. And I guess that's the reason for the call today. But yeah, so first I want to talk about my mindset. So first, to understand the perspective on mindset, you really need to understand this concept, which is the story of the Chinese farmer by Alan Watts. If you guys have heard of that, but it goes something like this. There's a Chinese farmer and his horse runs away. People are like, damn, that sucks. And then the Chinese farmer responds with maybe. Then his horse comes back with 3 other horses, and people say like, damn, that's great. And he responds with maybe. And then his son breaks his leg while trying to tame one of the horses. People say, damn, that sucks. And then he says maybe. And then the army comes in and tries to draft his son to war, but chose not to because he has a broken leg, right? And he can't fight. And people say, damn, that's great. And the Chinese farmer says, maybe. So yeah, the point here is you never know if anything is good or bad, right? Because one thing can lead to another, and you don't know if you're unlucky or lucky, basically. So yeah, that brings to my next point, which is everything is your fault. So no matter how delusional this is, if you think like this, then you are setting up for the best possible chance of success. So me and my brother, deep down, know some things aren't our fault, but we know that it is still our problem. For example, our parents were big on going to university, and that was their idea of like success. So we could have blamed our parents for not getting us into online business earlier, but instead we changed our thought process into like, we should have known to get into online business earlier. So we put it on ourselves, even though like deep down, like literally and logically, it wasn't our fault. But we just changed our thought habit to make everything our fault, no matter what. It's super delusional, but this is how we found success. So yeah, like for example, if I didn't get results in the program I bought, instead of calling a guru a scammer, I always thought I'm the problem. I didn't work hard enough. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Right? You always put it on yourself. And yeah, this is an extension to everything's your fault. That's your problem. We always want to think everything is our fault. Yeah, I kind of explained this already, but yeah, you have parents who are traditional and don't believe in online money. That's your problem. The offer your appointment setting for socks. That's your problem. Lead quality socks. Your problem. You can't speak English and there's a language barrier. Your problem. Time zone with good offers means you have to work. I was meant to say in other offers. It's your problem, right? So yeah, it's like everything is your fault, and by extension, everything is your problem, and you must do whatever it takes to solve it. Next, I put here, if you wanted to, you would. So me and my brother, we say this a lot. So like, if you wanted to make money, you would try. If you don't want to make money, then you didn't try hard enough and you gave up too early. So if you don't try hard enough, then you never wanted it in the first place. So for example, I was already exploring online business in high school, and I told myself like, oh, I really want to do drop shipping. I really want to do SMMA or affiliate marketing. Like I told myself like, oh, I want to do this. I don't want to go to uni. But instead, I had the fear of failing. So I didn't pursue online business at the time. And I ended up going to university. So by extension, this means I never truly wanted to get into online business because I didn't do it, right? If I fucking wanted to, I would have. So like you need to ask yourself, like, do you really want to do this? If yes, then like, are you doing whatever it takes? And that brings me to my next point. So yeah, I did many extreme things to get to where I am. 2 months after starting my first business, I did no work for it at all. And I was very comfortable. I had a lot of savings, little to no expenses, living at home with my parents. And there was no real urgency to make my business work. So what did I do? I did what's called like forced adaptation. So I quit my construction job, quit my side hustle, and invested in myself. And not many 19-year-olds would have done what I did, especially paying like 5K USD for a course from some random guy on the internet and still in university, right? And my friends and family who I told this to judged me, but I didn't care because I knew I had to go all in because it'd be too embarrassing not to succeed type shit. So yeah, I had to sacrifice a lot. I still found a way, but that being said, I still found a way not to be a complete monk. So although if I was like a complete monk, I would make more money. I admit that. Like if I fully just locked myself in the room and didn't go out, like I would make more money. I know that. But just for starters, I stopped drinking, smoking, didn't go out that much with friends, but I still had time to enjoy dinner with my family. I played soccer a couple times a week. I still went to the gym. I'd still go out with friends once in a while, just not that often. And I still had a social life in general. So to an extent, I didn't go all in because I would have had to be a monk to go all in, right? Which guarantees success. But business, yeah, the main purpose of business was that it never stopped me from doing other things outside of business, right? So yeah, what I'm saying is like I could have gone all in, like super, super all in, but I still made it work going like 3/4 all in. But like if you really want to guarantee success, you have to go fully all in. Next here, I put it all comes out in the wash. So this is a saying I learned from my first side hustle. And yeah, this is how this story of the Chinese farmer applies to work and business. So this basically means you can get your clothes as dirty as possible, but it all comes out of the wash when you take it out of the washing machine, right? So what I'm saying is there will be many ups and downs during your journey, and you only lose when you give up. So you think everything is fine, but in this space, so much bullshit comes up, like you don't even know. And that's what makes it hard. And that's why we get rewarded for it and we get paid for it. And the only way to guarantee success is to keep going, even if you don't see the tangible results. So let's say you're sending a bunch of DMs and like you're trying to set appointments and nothing's working, but like you see progression and you see that you're getting more replies or whatever. Like even if you're not getting paid, like you still need to keep going and you shouldn't let that stop you or hurt your self-esteem. Yeah, so next is I wrote, this is what hard feels like. So something that helped me a lot was reminding myself, like, this is what hard feels like. If it were easy, everyone would be millionaires, but it's not. And when times are tough and you know that you're getting results, I mean, you're not getting results, then good. That's what it's meant to be. So are you going to give up and go back to what you're doing before, or keep trying into this new business venture or sales or whatever you're doing until you succeed, right? And I hope the latter is what you chose. There's a high chance that you're the only person in your extended family who is doing this type of work. And none of your friends would be able to fathom the amount of work that you're doing. Like, obviously, I don't know exactly what you guys are doing, but I assume it's doing some sort of outreaches to land jobs, interviews, or even like if you guys, for some of you guys are on roles, like just setting appointments and trying to make money and trying to make sales. Like people, your friends and the guys from high school and people that they wouldn't fathom the amount of work that you're doing. Like it's so hard. So be proud of yourself. Next is stop listening to people who don't have what you want. So I wish I learned this earlier, but you'll have people like your friends and family telling you what to do. And if you wanted to be rich and your parents, but if you want to be rich and your parents tell you to go to uni, to work a 9 to 5 corporate job, then you shouldn't listen to them unless they were rich and that's what you wanted, right? But yeah, it's also important to note that it's not their fault. That's just how they were brought up, and that's okay. But you always want to take what they're saying with a grain of salt. So it's like you should only listen to people who have what you want. People who have no context in what you're doing, who have traditional mindsets, what worked for them 50 years ago doesn't work now. So just take it with a grain of salt. Next is your goals should be the inputs, not outputs. So it's very easy to think that you're a failure when you don't reach your goals. For example, if your goal is to hit 10K a month and it's been a year and you haven't hit that yet, it's so tempting to just say, this shit doesn't work, I'm going to give up. So to eliminate this bad thought habit, you should dissect the exact actions it takes to make 10K a month. And this could be doing more outreach for interviews, building a personal brand, studying from the top reps, learning from your mentors. And yeah, so if let's say you wanted to land an appointment setting role, instead of saying that your goal is to land the role, your goal should be doing 50 outreaches per day to land the role. That way you don't get in your head too much. And you know that if you do these 50 outreaches per day long enough, it is impossible that you won't land a couple of interviews at some point. You just can't give up. Next is skill issues. So apart from limiting beliefs, 99% of the reason you don't have what you want is because of a skill issue. So if you suck at getting interviews, cool, do more outreach, build a better personal brand. You suck at landing roles for interviews, cool, practice and have more conviction in yourself and upskill. Can't close any deals, get better at sales. So the sooner you understand this, the better you will be because you're in control and you always know you can improve. You want to stop blaming other people. And yeah, most of the time, the answer will always be skill issue in terms of the problem. Next is to stop comparing. So this is something I used to struggle with a lot. You see lots of testimonials of 15-year-old kids making 100K a month, and you're like, fuck, why is that not me? The lowest ROI thing you can do to your self-esteem and your conviction is this, because the money in your bank accounts and the results you're getting, like that shouldn't reflect your self-esteem. And yeah, I bet most of the people you see online are lying straight up. Revenue does not equal profit. Most people who have went from 0 to 10K a month in their first month is bullshit. I'm saying most because some have actually done that, but most is bullshit. Most of those case studies have had experience in other things that would have helped. For example, a remote sales rep who hit 10K a month in their first month, a lot of them had years of experience, whether that's car sales, they were real estate agents or whatever. So all of this matters when you see these really good case studies. And that took me a while to figure out. But yeah, you never know the full details, and most gurus will hide this. Next is mentally masturbating, or like being a entrepreneur. So this is a term that basically means you think you're being productive when you're not. So for example, watching YouTube videos on how to land an appointment center role. Sure, when you're a complete beginner and you have no clue about the industry, you need to watch YouTube because you need information to start, right? But once you know the inputs and actions you have to do to get that result, there's nothing else you should be doing but those actions. So watching every Hormozi, Mangazi, Hamza video will not make you money if you already know what to do. So I stopped playing video games. I had app limits for all social media, stopped watching the news, stopped playing sport, or stopped watching sport, only listen to podcasts, quit YouTube, except for a select few channels. And, a lot of my friends would ask me like, oh, do you see the recent sport news? Or do you see who won the Premier League? And I straight up wouldn't know because it wasn't a priority for me. Like making money was a priority for me. And yeah, you like right now probably know what that thing is. And I assume for most of you, it's to send more messages. So yeah, if it's too hard, just eliminate all the distractions, like deleting apps, using tools that stop you from watching YouTube, putting your phone in a different room, because that's what I found works for me. So next is shiny object syndrome. So this is something I struggled with for a very, very long time. Like I probably cured this just a few months ago, but this basically means you're always looking for the best thing or best new thing that you can shortcut that can save your life. And it usually comes from FOMO, which is fear of missing out. But yeah, back when I was addicted to YouTube and TikTok, I would see every other business model pop up. Like drop shipping, Amazon FBA, high ticket sales, affiliate marketing, AI automation agency, growth operating. They're all super tempting. And yeah, whenever I ran into a problem in my business, I would always ask my brother, fuck this, should I just be a high ticket sales rep like you? And he'd always look at me and be like, shut up, I'm just being a pussy. And he's like, absolutely right. It's like the longer I stick to something, the better I'll be. If I do something else, I start back at zero. So yeah, I even bought a 1K growth operating course at the start of the year because I thought I would give up my cold email agency to pursue this once in a lifetime opportunity. But that was just me being emotional. And I knew it was shiny object syndrome. So I haven't touched the course once. So that's 1K down the drain. Yeah, but I have lifetime access. But yeah, it's like my shiny object was so bad that I actually bought a course when I was making like good money in my agency. Anyway, the longer you stick to something, the better you'll get at it. The second you change, you'll start back at zero. If you had stayed doing the original thing, you would most likely make more money. Now, in saying that, there is a difference between shiny object syndrome and being in the wrong vehicle, like how I changed my cold email agency from my real estate SMMA. So be smart, right? Okay, so this next session is limiting beliefs. So first of all, limiting beliefs are like things you think are true, but it's not, right? So one of this is convincing yourself you know how to do whatever when you don't. So this is probably the worst beliefs on this list. It is so bad because convincing yourself you know how to do something usually prevents you from actually learning how to do something and succeeding in it. Some examples of this are thinking you know how to do sales, thinking you're really good at outreach, thinking you're really good at interviews. And yeah, just thinking you can do it yourself. You could, right? But that's probably why you're stuck where you are. So what you want to do is get rid of that belief and start like understanding that some people are better than you at shit and you should probably learn from them. Next limiting belief is you don't have time to do XYZ. So obviously convincing yourself you don't have time to do something is not a good start to actually doing it. So this is really dumb because if you look over the shoulder of the type of people who have this limiting belief, they waste about 80% of their day at minimum, usually mentally masturbating. But yeah, if you ask them about their schedule or pressure them even 5%, they'll fold and admit that they actually do have time. And it's crazy to me. So even if you truly don't have time, you can make time. Like there's nothing stopping you from working night shift after your job. This is for some of you guys who are, you have a 9 to 5 or something and you have bills to pay, which is fair enough, but you want to get into this space. It's like, there's nothing stopping you from working night shift after your job, getting up early in the morning, working weekends, sacrificing low ROI activity, like watching Netflix. There's nothing stopping you except your own self-limiting belief. Next is that whatever method doesn't work. So if you went on Google and searched how to make money appointment setting, you would get hundreds, if not thousands of results. And the thing is, they all work. it's all about to what degree it works for you. So if something doesn't work for you, whether in a certain way to land a job, to send messages, or anything in life, it should be a piece of feedback that indicates that you aren't doing it right. So it means you suck at it, right? So it means you don't know something that you need to in order to succeed. So saying like, oh, appointment setting doesn't work, what you're really saying, it's you and it's a skill issue. And you prevent yourself from actually making it work in the future. So next limiting belief is you're too good to do whatever. And this is just an ego thing. So a common thing that I hear a lot is I'm too good to start off as an appointment setter. I should start as a closer. And you're not too good to do anything. Like better people who have years of sales experience do it like become an appointment setter before a closer. And they do it like enthusiastically. Yeah. And the people who think like this usually get fired or make no money. Like the people who are like, oh, I'll just start off as a closer. They usually get fired. Whereas the people, and even those guys who have years of sales experience in real life who want to transition to the remote space, they start off as setters too. So yeah, you're never too good to do anything. The next limiting belief is that I touched on before is you think gurus are scammers. So as I said, I've spent upwards of 25K on courses, mentors, masterminds, communities, coaching, and consulting. And yeah, I spoke about the first program I ever bought, which is 5K, and had nowhere near enough value as all the other programs I bought. Did I regret it? At the time, I actually did. I was actually very angry about it. I was like, fuck, I can't believe I spent 5K on this. No, I know now there's like all these other programs I would have bought. Fuck. But as I matured, I realized that this guru that got me started in the whole space, he helped me land my first client, which is their guarantee. And yeah, he helped me start a business in general and got me into this whole space. And everything I've ever done until now is thanks to that guy. So yeah, could I have gotten more value in all the programs? Yes, of course. But in terms of my journey, this is what started for me. And this ties back to the story of the Chinese farmer. So it's like, at the time, I thought it was shit. And I thought I got scammed. I thought the program sucked and I could have got a better program. But that led me to where I am now. It led me to other things. It led me to my brother, to getting my brother into sales. It led me to meeting all these people, to meeting Matt. So it all started with this guy, right? So I owe a lot to that original guru. And yeah, I got enough skills to keep going. But if I didn't, it would have been my fault and my problem, most likely because of a skill issue. And if I didn't get results, then maybe online business wasn't for me. And now looking back at it, 5K would be a cheap price to learn that lesson. Most people pay tens of thousands or just pay 10x that, whether that's in time or money, to learn that online business isn't for them, right? So I think of course, it worked out for me, but if it didn't work out for me, 5K is a cheap price to learn that lesson. And I would have gone back to uni. But yeah, next limiting belief is that you think time isn't money. And spoiler alert, time is money. Sure, you can learn everything on YouTube for free, but if you paid for a coach like I have, it will just fast track your success. You're literally time traveling. And if you understand that time is money, then by extension, if you're saving time, you're making money. It's gone to the point that my time is so valuable that I pay for laundry services. I Uber Eats 3 meals a day. I pay extra for convenience because time is money. So obviously, if you like cooking food, then that's different. Like I'm talking about for people who want to make money. So the point is that time is more valuable than money, and you should use money to save time in every way possible. Okay, so that's it in terms of like mindset, limiting beliefs. Now I'll talk about my appointment setting sauce, just running my 2 agencies in the past, and like what I'm currently doing now in my current cold email agency, which is a bit different, right? So yeah, for context, I run a cold email agency. It's not the same thing as doing like DMs on Instagram. So just take everything I say with a grain of salt. That being said, I have set hundreds of appointments for myself and my clients. I've also been set myself when I bought the 25K worth of programs, coaching, communities, masterminds. So I know a thing or two about appointment setting. And in my opinion, appointment setters are more important than closers because it's usually the first touch point after a lead is generated. So whether they came from an ad, inbound from content, cold outreach, it is the appointment setter's job to not only get them on a sales call, but also qualifies them, gives them the first impression of the company and the overall vibe, right? And this matters a lot when making the final sale. So what I want to talk about is speed to lead. So when I get a reply from cold email, I get my inbox manager slash appointment setters, like on my team, to respond in less than 5 minutes. Because studies show that businesses who respond to leads in less than 5 minutes are 100x more likely to connect and convert opportunities. And if you fully understand this as an appointment setter, that should scare you, right? You can't properly track data if you aren't responding to leads in time, whether that's from cold emails, DMs, or calling them. Like, you need to respond ASAP, like as fast as possible. And I guarantee you will set more appointments. Next is, it matters where the lead comes from. So whether the lead was generated through cold outreach, inbound from ads, inbound from, doesn't meant to say content, or referrals, you should treat it specific to how they were generated. So, for example, if you want to copy the best appointment setting framework from a guy who's an appointment setter for, let's say, a coach with 1 million followers on Instagram, and the lead has consumed their content, like their average lead, like watches them for years, and then decides to, let's say it's like a fitness coaching program, decides to buy after 2 years of watching their free fitness videos. So let's say this guy's giving you a framework, and you yourself, your leads come from cold outreach. Like, do you think you're going to get the same results if you copy him? No. So 2 words, offer specific. There's no best way to do things, because every offer is different. Every business is different. Where the lead comes from is different. So always keep that in mind. And what you want to do is just copy the best rep on your team. Until you're the best rep, there's no point trying to change anything because you're not the best rep. So yeah, just copy the best appointment setter on your team. And then once you start beating him, then you can start testing your own stuff. But just don't have the ego and don't have the limited belief that you're better. Okay, next, this is in terms of like the messaging. So this is for cold email, but don't make it sound stupid. Like, you need to ask yourself the question, like, does this sound stupid? Like, when you're typing your DMs, read it out loud. Does it sound stupid? And this should have a clear idea whether it sounds stupid or not. You also want to avoid fancy names for your service. Well, obviously, again, offer specific. But for example, if you say shit like AI appointment center or something similar, it just sounds stupid. So don't try to be smart. Write it in 5th grade English with some variants depending on factors. You want to remove all the fluff, all the waffling and all the yapping. And lastly, each sentence should be in its own paragraph. Well, this is for email, but if you're doing DMs, like, yeah, you don't want to send big blocks of text without paragraphs. At least like click send and then send the next message, then send. Or if you're doing it in one, then make sure each sentence is in its own paragraph. Next is, you want to write the messages the same way you talk in real life. So don't use any words you wouldn't say in real life. So I've been DM'd where people talked about their bespoke marketing. Like, who the fuck uses bespoke in real life? I've never heard of it. So yeah, you want to write it like you're talking to someone normally. Don't use weird words. And the main reason this happens is because you're probably using ChatGPT to write your scripts. And trust me, I've spent dozens of hours trying to get the right prompts to make AI write a script for me, but it will never convert as much as a quality script written by a human. So examples of words not to use is bespoke, comprehensive, utilize, facilitate, pertinent, commence, moreover, right? Next is less is more. So you have approximately, well, obviously, again, it's offer specific and depends how the lead's generated, but you have approximately 3 to 5 seconds to capture the attention of someone who opens your messages. So if you get sent a paragraph or a big block of text, no one is going to read it, and they'll assume it's a marketing message, which no one likes. So you look like every other scammer trying to pitch them something, trying to steal their money. And you should aim to make it as short as possible. So you want to get straight to the point so the prospect will have the best chance of reading your message and whatever your call to action is. And you want to make it about the prospect. And this is an extension to less is more. So no one cares about the types of services you do or the cultural values of your company. If they wanted to, they would look at your website, they would look at the Instagram profile, right? But in the messaging, no one gives a fuck. You have to talk in second language, which is like you, yours. And there's a huge misconception in appointment setting where people think they have to introduce themselves. Like, hey, it's me from this team. We do this and that. But that's far from the truth. Sure, yeah, as I said, people might care about that later on, but they'll look at your website and stuff. But when opening the message, they only care about your offer, like the value it gives them and how relevant it is to them. Next is, you want to use the same language as your target market. So this is pretty much very self-explanatory, but you want to make the prospects feel like you're speaking to them directly and that you know their industry as well as they do. For example, well, this is more for B2B, but if you're targeting real estate agents, you would use listings instead of houses to sell. Or if you're targeting e-com brands, you would use the word PPC because everyone knows that's pay-per-click advertising. Next thing is the hook. So it's basically the exact same as the subject line with cold emails. So you need to hook your prospects so they open the message, right? Don't reinvent the wheel. If you find something that works, then stick to it and just test lightly. But make sure it is relevant, whether that is a cold DM or an inbound like DM. So if you're doing an auto DM send, and make sure you remind them what they opted in for, right? So that's how you're going to hook them. You remind them what you're open in for. Because if you look at like your Instagram requests or Instagram DMs, I think you only see like the first couple of words. So that's super important because you need people to open them. Next is personalization. So this is super underrated when sending messages. And I usually use this when someone responds to a cold email or when connecting with leads on LinkedIn. But yeah, in this context for cold DMs or just DMs in general, if you're responding to a lead that has opted in, you want to do your research and literally stalk them. So you want to look at their Instagram. Do they have a sports team they support? Do they have a dog? Are they following anyone you know? You want to mention it in your messages. So a good example, if you are setting for a fitness offer, would be like, hey, John, saw you liked one of our posts about losing weight and wanted to reach out. Where are you in your weight loss journey? Question mark. P.S. Your Labrador was very cute. I also have one. Just an example. But you see the brilliance in this. It's so personalized to them that like they have to respond. Like they know that you're a real person. You're not some overseas scammer. Like you're a real person. You're not AI. And yeah, the next thing is pattern interrupt. So most of these leads opt in for other similar offers than yours, especially if it's something like weight loss, right? They're looking at a shit ton of different fitness influencers and getting DM'd by everyone. But yeah, essentially you need to be different. So pattern interrupt is when you do something so out of the blue that it sparks curiosity and gets them to take action. For example, if you're managing Instagram DMs, you can send personalized voice messages or videos, which not a lot of people do. If you are just messaging, you want to use emojis, send memes, and this will do you wonders. And yeah, that's it. This is the end of the presentation, but let me just end with like a few key takeaways. First of all, yeah, like everything's your fault. The sooner you understand that, the more money you'll make. You only lose when you give up. So just keep staying in the game. It's hard. Like if it were easy, everyone would be doing it, right? But I guess the next action steps for most of you guys in terms of appointment setters, what I would do if I were you is you need to start posting content. And that's something I didn't write in this presentation, but like, for example, I've hired an appointment setter for my agency and the guy had content. And that's why I think I hired him over other people. So you need to post content. And, I know you probably have limiting beliefs. Like, am I good on camera? Well, this is if you're doing like YouTube or stuff. Like, am I good on camera? What will my friends from home think? This is cringe. I sound cringe. I don't like myself for doing this. It's like, okay. And as I talked about before, like if you wanted to, you would. And if you know that posting content will guarantee that you'll land better like sales gigs, then do you really want to land a better sales gig if you're not willing to post content, right? So yeah, post a lot of content, do whatever it takes, send as many DMs as you can. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Who has questions? Nope.
I do. Hello, hello.
What's up?
I thought, first of all, I'd like to say what really got me off was that your mindset in the start, you understand? Because you were like speaking directly to me. Because I started appointment set like hunting for jobs since December last year. You understand? December 2023, I started. You understand? So it has not been long, shall like on Instagram, I would like to say I landed a job or something like that. Then the time zone was different from mine, you understand? So most times when the person told me to get up by so time, I'm asleep, you understand? So I felt like if I was losing the client, you understand? I woke up this morning. So I woke up this morning, then my conscience was like telling me it's my fault. It's my fault that I'm allowing this client to sleep away. But now you're reconfirming me that okay, it's my fault, it's my fault. But sometimes when people are not around to cheer you or there's no any metric to to measure how far you're going. Because most times when you're DM, and you're not getting any response, you look as if you're not doing anything. But I like as how you have elaborated on it, and it keep me hope.
But it was very hard to understand you. But I believe you're saying something like your offer isn't good because of the time zone, and he's saying it's your fault. Can
What am I
anyone
saying?
help me out here? And if
Okay,
anyone understood that?
let me say it again. I said that what really stood out for me in this your presentation was the mindset section. You understand?
Yes. Yeah.
I said that I started DMing for setup jobs since last year, December.
Yes.
You know, I've been DMing for a very long time, but it looks as if it's very impossible, like to land one. You understand? But I said recently I landed one with somebody in Atlanta, but due to time zone difference, you understand, I
Yes.
couldn't wake up in the midnight. You understand? In my own times, I couldn't wake up in the midnight to do things. You understand? Sometimes I'll wake up, then I'll be on the phone. I was off. So I said this morning, early this morning, I was taking my shower. Then I just found my conscience telling me that it's my fault. It's my fault. Then today in today's presentation, you pointed it out again about taking ownership, you understand? Like, yeah, truly,
Yes.
truly, like that was stood out for me. And I said, you're like talking directly to me. Now I said,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you found value in that. But yeah, essentially,
"Well,
yeah,
wait,
it's like the
wait,
time
wait. My
zone,
question, my
it's
question,
still your problem. Yeah.
my question is now my question is how do you like build a timetable for yourself? Like, know the hours. Okay, this is what I'll be doing. Like, how you build a timetable around or a schedule around your habits so you can be a line of in line. You understand?
So you're saying like, how do I set up my timetable,
Yeah, your timetable.
my
Yeah,
schedule? Well, yeah,
yeah.
obviously I don't have enough context in your life and like what you're doing. But for me personally, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like I was living at home. I, you know, I had time to do this. And when I joined one of the coaching programs, I'm based in Australia. They were mostly based in the US. So I would be doing night shifts. And but that's because I really wanted it to work and I paid 10K for this coaching program. So I had no other choice but to, you know, basically do night shifts. So yeah, I mean, it's brutal and it's the truth, but there's no real right answer to what's the best schedule, best timetable. It's like you just got to do it. And if you're going to lose sleep, then it is what it is. Yeah, as Matt said, it's like if you wanted to, you would. And for a long time, I was like that too. I was like, oh, it's too hard. Like this won't work for me because of XYZ problem. But yeah, it's like I could always make it work. There's always a way to make shit work. And by the way, you said December. You started December last year, and it's July. It's only been 7 months. I'm saying only because like I've been in this space for nearly 2 years, and it took me a long time till I actually started making money. So you 7 months isn't that long of a time. You just need to keep doing what you're doing. Just send more outreach. As I said, again, post content, just whatever, like start a YouTube channel, post content, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. And then when you land, you'll find it so much easier to land roles. And oh yeah, you're already on a roll. So yeah, just keep doing more DMs and you kind of just gotta do it. Like it's as simple as that, really.
Okay, okay, thanks. I appreciate it.
All good, bro.
Yeah, good stuff, Matteo. Good presentation. I appreciate you for doing this. I want to add on something as well, just a more logical tip. So, where are you based, brother? In Africa, right? I'm assuming. Hello?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you are.
West
Okay.
Africa side.
Okay. So, like Nigeria?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, if time zone is a problem, what you could do is you could go focus on like European, UK appointment setting positions because I believe the time zone's not that much different. So, if the
Yeah,
times
true,
that
true,
they're
true.
operating is not that much different, like 1 hour, 2 hours behind you only, then that might be more manageable too. So that's more like a logistical tip for you. But again, like as Matteo said, like if you would, you'd find a way and you'd make it work. Sometimes night shift is what you have to do to get to the goals you want, but that's a more logistical tip for you as well, brother. I hope that
Yeah,
helps.
No, no problem. No problem. I think the point of the presentation is you should go through the pain. Like you shouldn't blame
yeah,
anybody. I
exactly.
like so that is it.
Yep.
So that is I won't give an excuse about time zone. If I want it, that means I'll have to stay up and do it. So I understand.
Yeah, I want to add to that. Like, think of like you're in Nigeria, and your appointment setting. Like, think about wherever you are. I guarantee you, in your hometown, there's no one else doing what you're doing. Like, it's hard what you're doing, and that's okay. What gives it value is the fact that it's hard. So, yeah, just like give yourself a pat on the back, and yeah, be proud of yourself because it's hard. It's not easy what you're doing, you know? And if it means you're doing night shift, instead of thinking like, yeah, shit, it's night shift, that kind of sucks. You should think like, I'm doing what no one else in my close circle like are doing. Like they couldn't even fathom what I'm doing. I'm that much of a G. And then yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, keep progressing, and just make more money, bro.
Yeah, I think yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Matteo, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, bro. Go for it.
So I've been doing outreach for like a week now, and I've landed some interviews, but a lot of them have been kind of dodgy. Like they haven't put their camera on. They've been kind of
Sus.
not really asking too many questions about myself. I think only one guy, and he was from India. He was like kind of it was too good to be true almost. He was like, "Yeah, we'll get you to 5K a month within the first month. Like it's a good offer. How do I find offers that aren't scams?" Basically, yeah.
Yeah. So I've never like obviously I've never been an appointment setter myself, like for someone else. I've only ever set appointments for myself. So I don't have the best like experience and I'm not the most qualified to give you this, but you just have to like first of all, I think a good thing to do is like trust your gut and like trust your instincts. But also you need to like vet them out yourself by asking questions. Like for
Yeah, that's
example,
what
like
I've been
what's the
doing.
top rep doing? Like what are you guys doing in terms of cash collected, revenue, how the leads generated, like all these questions, and like yeah, like you'll have a feeling whether it's sus or not. But worst case, like you can always try it, and it's kind of like there's more risk to them than you. So it's like you could if you're starting out, you could just like hop on a shit ton of different offers and then just like leave some if they're shit.
Yeah, right. I'll figure it out. Just more outreach. Volume's the answer, I think.
And post content, bro. Guarantee you'll land way more.
Oh yeah, quick question about the content. Is it literally just can it be whatever or what's the kind of ideal content framework roughly?
I think like if you can just be yourself and build something around like the shit you like, whether that's appointment setting, whether that's a hobby or something, do that. But a good way to start is just post your journey. Like day one of learning appointment setting, I went through these YouTube videos, I went through this course, I did X amount of outreach, post yourself going to the gym. Like, trust me, offer owners will look at that and will be like, they probably won't even give a fuck about your skill set. They will just look at your work ethic and be like, I want this guy because he's coachable and he has work ethic. I don't care if he has zero skills because I can teach that to him. And if you post content, you're more likely than the guy who doesn't post content. So
Would you literally get people DMing you even if you haven't done outreach, if you just post content?
it could happen. Yeah, I've heard of that for sure from people.
Yeah, will do, will do.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good question as well because like we talked about at the start of the call, Mateo and Alfonso, you guys just recently started posting content. So you're like you said in the presentation, you're teaching from step 2 and 3, and then let's say Will, for example, is from step 1, so you're not that far off.
Yeah. Exactly.
Pretty sick. Yeah, I've kind of had to. Yeah. I'm glad you guys are posting content. I said that already, but it pays off, man. Like it's mentor.
It's the
Old
highest
mentor
ROI
mindset.
thing you guys can do right now.
It is, and it's like mentor said. It's almost like building a moat around your success. It's like if everything goes to shit, let's say, like you got your digital presence online. No one can take that away from you. So, I mean, that's why you guys are probably in this group, because I spent 2, 3, 4 years, and you've seen, if you guys have been OGs, like you'll see that I've been hopping around from business to business, documenting the journey since the beginning. And I have a lot of my digital resume online. So you guys know, like, and trust me enough to join this group. And then some of you guys in the Oracle, that's why you invested in me, and you trust me. And that this is why I've built connections too, like Alfonso and Mateo, who are big, big help to me and my business and just my life in general. So yeah, posting content, just start, one foot in front of the other.
I've got a question to kind of back off that. So I actually joined this group like 20 minutes before the call, so it's good to be here. I think it was a good call. I have a question in terms of posting content. I've been on a lot of offers. I've also trained and managed setters for a couple of big guys in the space. Would you guys, and I want to try build my personal brand now because it's obviously a very valuable thing to have. Would you guys recommend me documenting my journey or giving more practical tips about appointment setting? Because like I said, I've trained setters and stuff like that. So I think that would be more valuable than actually just day in the life of an appointment setter. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I'd say do both. If you can give like good the thing is like you need to for you it's a bit different because like most guys here are like trying to land roles and stuff. But for you, if you want to potentially like start your own offer or something, it really depends like the content you make. And like sometimes you shouldn't care about views because you want new clients or something, right? So your content is tailored around that. But yeah, I'd just say do both and see which one resonates the best. And it's all on like what you're trying to get out of content, whether that's you landing more roles. If it's that, then yeah, you should probably post more like documenting your journey. But if it's you have your own offer where you're placing appointment setters or whatever, then yeah, definitely talk about the appointment setting like tips and tricks. But yeah, Matt, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, I was say the same thing. Just do both, and then don't make assumptions. A big thing I learned is like let the market decides what's best for you, So like you said, if posting tips gets you closer to the goal that you want. I don't know what your goal is for posting content, building your personal brand. You can tell us in a minute. Then maybe double down on that. But you wouldn't know until you tested it first. And once you tested it, it'll be messy in the beginning, but once you see what resonates more, maybe you can double down more on a style of content. Be style, it could be different, it could be a certain topic. I know the ones on my YouTube, the ones that consistently keep getting views and leads are the ones on how to land a role, because I understand a lot of people are still stuck at that first step. So whenever I put something on YouTube out about how to land a role, that usually gets more views than something like, I don't know, like I like to do vlogs from time to time or something personal from time to time, but like, let's face it, they don't get as much clicks or views or traffic. So I've only known that because I've been posting so much, and I've actually been putting output out to know this already and make a conclusion. So the market decides ultimately, but in the beginning, just be willing to test things out. Don't overthink it. Do both if you want like a definite answer, and then yeah, just keep doing that consistently for an extended amount of time, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And then yeah, I think the answers will become pretty clear as each day goes by. Does that help, bro?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good advice. I think I'm mainly leaning to post more setting stuff because I'm not really looking to land more setting jobs. I'm mainly maybe potentially looking to start my own business when it comes to setting. But I think also incorporating both styles, like you said, and just testing and seeing what works. Go, bro. Thanks, man.
For sure, bro. Sweet boys. I know Mateo has to hop off in a couple minutes, get ready for his next sales call. But if you guys have one or two more questions, I mean, two maximum, but let's keep it short. One more or two more, just fire them away. And then, yeah, we'll wrap up. It's been you're spitting flames, bro. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
All good, bro. Happy to help and happy to give value where needed. Because yeah, I wish someone told me these things when I started. So
100%. Cool. It's a free for all. Who has the last question?
They can have questions for you as well, Matt. It doesn't have to be to me.
Yeah, to me or to
Yeah.
Mateo. And then what we can do, I'm speaking to Alfonso as well. Behind the scenes, we can probably set up a separate call for you guys. And then he's like more into the high ticket sales space himself. So like even more directly into it. So that'll also be a good call to set up. And you guys can ask him about high ticket sales questions and setting because he's like in it, you know. So yeah, boys. So I'm assuming because this room's very quiet, everyone's good and no one's facing any problems that you want to consult with us. Put a one in the okay, let's do this. Put a one in the chat if you found this call very valuable. If you got takeaways and you learned a lot. One's in the chat.
Good stuff.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they're loving it. They're loving it. They're loving it. Again, goes back to the thing I just said. Like the market decides. I know that a lot more people attended on these guest calls. So that's a learning lesson for me too. More guests, and that's gonna lead to success. Didn't mean to rhyme that, but that's a learning lesson right there. So yeah, boys, I'm assuming no one else has any more questions. If you do, but we don't have the time right now, just message me in the school group, message me, message the community. Mateo's in the group, so you can DM him as well. Or where can they find you actually? Socials, anything
Yeah,
you want to plug?
Instagram, school. I'm in the group, so just send me a message. I get to those every day, so yeah.
Sweet. Well, bro, it's a pleasure. I'm glad you guys attended, and yeah, to many more. This will be
Easy.
recorded. This has been recorded, and it's gonna go up once it's processed, so you guys can watch back on it. If you guys are watching the recording, same thing, you can watch it. Okay, but appreciate you, Mateo, and
All good,
I'll see you
brother.
guys on Saturday. That's when the call is for everyone. So this is like a one-off sort of thing, but I'll see you guys on Saturday. Hope you guys can make it.
Peace out.
Peace, boys.
Cheers, Matt.
Bye bye. Peace. Bye.